Hey, what's going on there? Welcome back to Films with Royal Chuck. I am Chuck, and I hope you've been enjoying the videos this past week on my channel. There's a Criterion Arrow video recommendation. There's a movie marathon from Halloween weekend. I'll be talking about all those films today as well. And then today's video is all about the movies that I watched in the month of October for horror month, Halloween. Before I get into that, I wanted to talk about two movies I watched towards the end, towards the end and the middle part of September. The first one was a brand new movie called Unhinged with Russell Crowe. Really enjoyed this movie. It's a psychological movie about road rage gone too far. What would you do to what if you just had some I'm sorry, could you prevent something from happening? How important is I'm sorry even though if you're not really sorry? And that's a very interesting concept, and the movie was fantastic. If you've seen the movie, you understand what I'm talking about. There's a road rage incident, and all Russell Crowe's character wants is an I'm sorry, the lady won't give it to him, so he goes unhinged, and the rest is history. And then I watched Doctor Sleep, the director's cut, which was fantastic. I have my letterbox pulled up. That's what I'm looking at on the side here. That was fantastic. Truly enjoyed watching Doctor Sleep for the very first time. I really didn't have a lot of high expectations. I'll talk about The Shining here very soon, but it helped me understand The Shining better and what the character is like, with Danny Torrance, and so that's very interesting. I liked the content, how he had to save the girl in order to continue almost the shine, the people that shine. Had to fight against a different type of people that want to live eternally. So great movie. I recommend the director's cut to that. After that, I didn't really watch a lot of movies to start October. I was in video game mode and didn't get really a lot of movies watched. And then I went to see a friend and we watched a bunch of movies over that weekend. And after that, it was game on. So first movie I watched this in the month of October was Casper with Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci. I had not seen this movie since maybe I was a kid. Like, I don't remember watching this probably in the last 10 years at least seven, or at least 6 or 7 that I can remember. I watched it as a kid. I remember the concept, I remember Casper. Once these three ghosts showed up, I remembered that. But I did not remember the concept of who the house was, how did these two get in the house. Like, I didn't remember any of that. So it was great to retouch on Casper and the storyline, things like that. So I really enjoy this movie. Something I probably will watch every single Halloween. But I didn't realize Steven Spielberg produced this movie, or an executive produced this movie. But no, really liked Casper. It was great. I'm great to watch it again to kind of remember some things, learn some new things that I had forgotten. So yeah, Casper was first up. So then next was a John Carpenter movie, one of the first horror movies that I watched. I think next week I'm going to do a video about how I got into horror movies. But one of the first ones I watched is Christine on 4K, the 35th anniversary. And of course, this is Christine, which is a car. And it talks about Christine, who is a 1958 Plymouth Fury. And it talks about the new owner, which is Arnie Cunningham. You see him purchase the car. You see him fix it up, get it all ready, nice and ready to go. He gets a girl. He kind of starts to change. Well, we don't know why, and then we finally learn that the only love the owner can have is Christine. And if the owner has other loves or other issues than Christine, Christine takes care of those. Very interesting concept. Is based on a book written by Stephen King. If you've not watched this movie, I would highly recommend it. Very interesting concept. There's some good parts of it with the car and how the car changes a person, but no one else around. The person doesn't notice, but everyone else around notices that the person is changing. Alrighty, next up is Hocus Pocus. I hadn't seen this movie for a few years. I have watched this here in the last few years. But yet again, like Casper, there were some parts that I forgot. So it's good to sit down and watch it and kind of remember everything and kind of watch it for a full through. I remember the cat. I remember the little girl. I remember some of that stuff. But there's some stuff in the early parts that I did not really remember. They announced Hocus Pocus 2 coming to Disney Plus, so I'm interested to see what that's about. But yeah, really enjoy Hocus Pocus. Of course, it's a big Halloween movie for everybody. All right, next up is John Carpenter's Halloween, the 1978 version with Jamie Lee Curtis. Seen this movie twice in the month of October. Once my friend and I watched the riff tracks of it, which was funny. It was good to catch up. I knew the movie in over a year, and then I watched it with my friend without the riff tracks. This is slowly becoming is my favorite horror movie, Halloween movie. Michael Myers is probably my favorite horror franchise character, slasher character. Really enjoyed this movie. It was great to watch it twice, and you just get to continue to pick up more and more pieces of the movie as you continue. So really, like I said, really enjoy this movie. Probably my favorite Halloween movie. It looks great on 4K. Has a great opening scene. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but if you have not seen it, Halloween 1978 version. Alrighty. Next up, I watched Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. This was my second viewing. My first viewing of The Shining, I did not like it at all. I thought it was slow. I thought it was boring. There wasn't enough scares. There wasn't enough anything. But after watching Doctor Sleep and then rewatching The Shining, I really love it. Like, it jumped up tremendously. I understand now about the kid. You got concepts with Jack Torrance and what he does with the hotel. Is he there the whole time? Of course, the mother. And so it's really just a good movie. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the different parts of it between the kid and all that he sees in the hotel, between the transition of the beginning of the movie, Jack Torrance, to the very end of Jack Torrance, with the mother who she's figuring it out about her husband, but also is freaked out by the kid. And is trying to do everything she can. She seems to be the only one working throughout the whole movie at this hotel. But no, this is really good at the Overlook Hotel. Looks great on 4K. I also have the steelbook of this, but it definitely went up tremendously on the second viewing. I'll probably continue to because you just catch more and more, and you start to understand more of the concepts of the movie, what the movie's saying, etc. So this has grown. I really enjoy Doctor Sleep. I think that watching them, having both of them, it is a cool continuation of the story. Helps you understand more about Danny Torrance, things like that. So, other than that, yeah, that's The Shining. So next up, I watched the Hotel Transylvania trilogy. I had not seen the third one. I love the first Hotel Transylvania. It's a really cool concept. All of the monsters in a hotel hanging out. Some great voices. With Adam Sandler, you have Andy Samberg, Selena Gomez, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi, CeeLo Green's in the first one, but he's not in the other ones. Um, and then you have David Spade, Molly Shannon, um, Fran Drescher, just so many good um, voice actors. But this movie is basically this kid right here is Andy Samberg's character, comes in this hotel, doesn't know that it's a monster hotel or Hotel Transylvania. And Adam Sandler's character, which is Dracula, finds out he's a human, freaks out because he does not realize that humans actually like monsters now. His daughter falls in love with, of course, this kid, and there's a big old storyline with that. And they eventually get married in this movie. So, very, very cool, fun, funny movie. Great concept. Enjoyed a lot. The voices are what makes it funny. And then Hotel Transylvania 2, um, we see that the two characters get married here with his daughter, and then the Andy Samberg character, and then of course he has a kid. This whole movie is about whether or not he's gonna get his fangs. Is this kid gonna be a vampire? Is he gonna be a human? And then his father gets involved, which is played by Mel Brooks. And then Keegan Michael Key's in this movie, so I think he replaces CeeLo Green voice. Um, yeah, Mel Brooks is in this movie as his father, and he doesn't realize that this kid is human. And then you have his entire family comes for his 5th birthday, and they all have to dress up like monsters. And his parents um, had some good voices as well. This is a really fun movie. It kind of has a good message of the kid is what he is, as long as he's healthy and there's a happy family. Also about leaving, they may leave the hotel. So I don't want to ruin the ending, but it is a good movie. He's trying to keep his daughter there and trying to find the identity, and wants his kid to be a vampire. She doesn't want him to be pushed, trying to be a protective mother. So, yeah, this is a good movie. And then Hotel Transylvania 3, I did not like very much. I got to the ending before the movie did, and it's just not. Yeah, they go on vacation, so that's cool. But beyond that, it's not really the greatest thing. I like my favorite parts of this movie are when the two they all when the werewolf puts all of his kids in babysitter, and so Steve Buscemi and Molly Shannon characters can go and actually have a day off. So that is interesting. But beyond that, it's basically a story about trying to get Adam Sandler's character Dracula to calm down, and then love's involved, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Alrighty, next up, I watched the first one with my family, and that is The Addams Family and The Addams Family Values. I enjoyed both of these very much. I enjoy Addams Family a lot more. I enjoyed the story of Fester and trying to steal from the Addams Family, but then Fester realizes, or gets struck by lightning and realizes that he is Fester all along. Spoiler alert. And some other stuff happens. I really enjoy this. Addams Family Values is all about Fester finding love, and a bunch of stuff horribly happens. My favorite part of Addams Family Values is the two kids, Christina Ricci, and her brother. I don't remember this kid right here. Try to take out this baby and find out if he's really part of the family. And there's some really cool scenes when they're trying to play and do different things. So that was my favorite part of this movie. But beyond that, I prefer the Addams Family. Okay. Then I had a double feature night where I watched the first Saw movie. So I have the complete movie collection. I have not watched every single Saw movie, but I did watch Saw, the original, and I hadn't watched it since I was in college or maybe high school. I remember watching the first couple. Um, really enjoyed Saw. I enjoy its psychological. Really, you have to ask yourself what you're willing to do to survive, what you're willing to do to be a better person. And so I really enjoyed the first Saw. I think I've seen Saw 2 and 3, but I don't think I've seen the rest of them. And so I really have always enjoyed Saw. It's a great movie. It's a fast little movie, roller coaster ride. So yeah, watch Saw. And then I watched Jigsaw for the very first time. Of course, this movie came out in 2017 and revisited the franchise. And this was an actually very intense game. So the people that were in the game actually go through a very um, intense game, and then you find some things out along the way at the very end, and the police are involved. So this is a very good movie. I actually really liked it. I thought I wouldn't like it at all, but I actually thought it was very interesting. Some different concepts in it. I liked the games, things like that. So that was Jigsaw. So then we had a snow day, and so we and my friend had a movie marathon. We watched all horror movies, and so the first movie we watched that day, and I don't necessarily think this was a horror movie, but it's just a very weird movie, and that is The Lighthouse. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I want to watch it again. I may have, I may see if my friend will watch it with me, a different friend. Um, but I actually really enjoyed this movie. I don't even know how to describe it. These two guys move into work at the lighthouse, and there's visions involved, there's dreams, there's monsters. It's just, and then there's a storm that comes and ruins their trip to go home. It's just a really crazy movie, and I can't really say much more than that. But I really highly enjoy this movie. It's black and white, released in 2019 by Robert Eggers, which is the acclaimed director of The Witch, which I own but I've not seen yet, but it's on the top of the watch list. I gotta get back into horror. I took a little bit of. I've been taking a break doing some Criterion stuff. Alrighty, so we watched The Lost Boys. I don't own The Lost Boys. My friend and I watched the movie Marathon does. It's a vampire movie. Really enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed, these kids, this family moves to this town and they're told that like vampires rule everything. And then the older one gets involved with that group, but the younger one finds these two guys at a comic book store that are all about stopping vampires and killing them. And so it's just a very fun concept when the younger brother finds out the older brother has been turned into a vampire. He instills these two guys to help, and it's just a hilarious ride to the end because these guys are so comedic. They think they're vampire experts, but they're really not. Um, but at the same time, they they make a comedic while some of the vampire characters are very much trying to bring some of that horror, some of that thriller aspect, and they have a great cast of vampires. So yeah, The Lost Boys. I'll be adding it to my collection. There's also a second and third movie featuring the two guys that are into hunting vampires. The next movie we watched is The Omen. This comes from the Omen collection I have from Scream Factory. I did not know what to expect with this movie at all. I expected it to be a long and slow burn. That's exactly what it was. But it was a creepy movie with this kid. And then they're trying to figure out what's going on. And the Gregory Peck character continues to learn more and more things and tries to do the right thing at the end, but there's a twist. I really enjoyed The Omen. I can't wait to watch the sequels and then the remake. But this is a really, really good movie. I would highly encourage you to watch. If you never watched the original Omen movie, you only watch the remake, pop this in and just enjoy it because it is truly a good movie, good actors. The kid is a phenomenal actor. Gregory Peck is fantastic in this movie. Alrighty. So next we watched the 1958 version of The Blob. It's on the Criterion Collection. I don't own it yet. I will at someday. It's on my list, but I didn't get it this time because I had just watched it. I feel like a bunch of movies that I have not watched before. Really enjoyed it. I enjoyed Steve McQueen's acting in the movie about these two kids trying to get the whole town to believe something. And I also enjoyed the concept with the blob eating different people and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And then eventually everyone in the town believes them and they have to fight this thing off. But is it really gone? Is it not gone? I've never seen the remake of the Blob, but I really enjoyed the original Blob, and the acting is phenomenal. Next movie we watched was Guns Akimbo, which is maybe not really a horror movie, but it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Daniel Radcliffe was phenomenal. The cast was phenomenal. It was a very big revenge type movie, which was phenomenal as well. Then we watched the original Child's Play movie, which I enjoyed. There was parts of it that kind of got silly in terms of like they bring them so your kids in a mental institution, but then you bring the doll back home. You don't get rid of the doll. Like these adults in the movie just kind of don't understand why this kid is talking to the doll, and so then the doll finally presents itself and is on a mission to find somebody. And then the cop doesn't believe him, and then the cop is, plays a role in the story. I enjoyed it. I really thought it was a good origin story. You learn about why Chucky is alive, who he actually is. So yeah, good movie. I'm excited to watch some of the other ones. And then the final movie we watched that day is Paranorman, which is, of course, about Norman, and he can see ghosts. And then he is asked to save the town. So it has Kobe Schmidt, McPhee, Anna, Kendra Casey, Affleck, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Leslie Mann, Jeff Garlin, and John Goodman. John Goodman's character in this movie is hilarious. Truly enjoyed it. But yes, he has to stop these ghosts from coming back and on the witching day. So this is a fun little movie. That's how we ended our movie marathon that day. Really enjoyed Paranorman. Okay. So that got me to basically Halloween. I also watched Harold and Maude the night before, Friday night of Halloween weekend. Truly enjoyed that movie, but it's nothing to do with Halloween. But I did watch it. I really enjoyed Harold and Maude. I think it's on the Criterion Collection. I don't know if it's just a DVD or if it's a Blu-ray. So I have to check that out. All right, now we get into my Halloween day and Sunday Halloween weekend movie marathon, which was posted on Wednesday. So I'll go through some of these rather quickly because you heard some of my thoughts during that video. The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. Really enjoy this movie. I enjoyed the monster and how it kind of moves between people and you don't know who to trust. And they lock some certain people away, and there's backstabbing in the movie, and no one really knows what's going on or who the thing is or what the thing is. And so I really thought it was a great concept, and it really plays on a lot of different avenues from creature feature to thriller. They don't know what's going on to there's a lot of drama with I don't know who to trust. Well, I don't know what's going on. But The Thing is a phenomenal movie. This is the Shout Factory, Scream Factory Steelbook from John Carpenter. Okay, next up was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Tobe Hooper movie, the original movie from 1974. Going into this movie, I thought this movie was completely different than what it was. I did not expect this movie to be what it was. I thought it was going to be Leatherface going out and killing these people, not a cannibalism style murder. But I really enjoyed the movie. The characters were interesting on a road trip. They pick up one of these guys, and then kind of what he does. Him walking through the woods is really, really creepy. They walk through some very big wooded areas. That's just really creepy because you hear the chainsaw, but you don't know where he's at, and then the person's trying to run for their lives, but there's really not much places they can go. So, really enjoyed it. Excited to continue watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. Next movie I watched was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and this was probably one of my favorite movies I watched over the weekend. It has a great cast with Donald Sutherland, Leonard Nimoy, Jeff Goldblum, and basically it's about a group of people that are trying to take over everyone, create a new body. And so when the movie starts, you have this character, her husband changes and she realizes something's wrong, and so she works with Donald Sutherland, and then her and Donald Sutherland start to investigate it, and then Jeff Goldblum joins, and then this Leonard Nimoy's character kind of takes a twist in the middle of the movie, and you basically find out that the seed is planted and then terror is growing, so all of these people are taking this seed, and you are born again into a new person. And so that is kind of what they're trying to do in this movie, and Donald Sutherland's trying to stop it. I don't want to ruin the ending, but yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Like I said, one of my favorites of the weekend, directed by Philip Kaufman, based on a novel by Jack Finney. Great cast. Really, really enjoyed this. It kept me going to find out what exactly these plants were, who exactly is leading this. Is there a way to stop it? How can you stop it? Um, how do you figure out who has been changed, who has not been changed, who has been, that has gotten a new seed, so to say, and can you fake that feeling, and how long are you willing to fake it? So, very good movie. Alrighty. Next up, I watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I've never seen any of these movies, and this is gonna sound extremely dumb, but if you had told me these movies actually take place in a nightmare, I would have told you that you're dumb. I yet again had no clue going to this movie what it was, and then when I found out it was about, it's literally a nightmare, and they're trying to pull Freddy Krueger out of a nightmare. And if you don't sleep, you don't get killed. He can't find you. How do you believe him? Do you not believe him? And so really, it's about so a girl gets killed in the very beginning, and one of her friends figures it out because they're having the same nightmare, and so she's trying to stop Freddy Krueger. She enlists her boyfriend, who is Johnny Depp, and they try to stop it, but then Johnny Depp doesn't really believe her either. And yeah, great movie. I'm excited to watch some of the next ones. It's kind of the theme is I watched a lot of first time movies in the series, and so I'm excited to continue that series once I get back into kind of a horror groove here. Next up, I watched The Exorcist, the original by William Friedkin, and this was a surprisingly good movie, and it wasn't. I expected something just silly and just scary, but I mean, it was terrifying, but at the same time, it was interesting to learn more about exorcism and the Catholic Church stance on it. Interested to know, the mom doesn't have a clue what to do, and there's a lot of different stuff going on in the movie, and how can we save this little girl? And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that it was a good watch, something maybe to watch every Halloween season. That is The Exorcist. All right, the last movie I watched on Halloween night, and then the another first is Friday the 13th. Loved it. Um, Jason's mom, of course, is the star of this movie. You learn about the horror at Crystal Lake. You've learned about what happened 20 years ago, and you kind of understand. Um, you see um, Jason, of course. I'm not going to ruin it, say anything more than that, but this is part of my Friday the 13th collection. All right, three more movies. This is already over 30 minutes. First, so next is Jeepers Creepers. Um, Fantastic movie. Really enjoyed Justin Long in this movie. I don't know what else I can say. Like, it's a great haunting movie, creature feature. I mean, just a lot of stuff, and I really enjoy this movie. I cannot wait to watch the second one, which I do have. Next up, I watched Psycho. Um, Not what I was expecting either, but I thoroughly enjoyed Psycho. And Norman Bates, the actor who plays Norman Bates, is phenomenal. I mean, it just was a phenomenal movie, and it's truly a masterpiece. And it makes me want to get more into Norman Bates and the Bates Motel, and even the show that was on. And then the final movie I watched for Halloween was the 2018 Halloween movie, which is a phenomenal sequel to the 1978 version, and yet again, one of my favorite Halloween movies of all time. It's good to see Michael Myers back. It was good to see Laurie Strode back, and that night in 1978, what effect it took on her life, and the people and the family and the people in her life. All right, that is everything. So coming up next week, we have hopefully some Criterion Collection Arrow video unboxings, and also I will talk to you more about how I got into horror. But I've talked enough. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments about these movies, other horror movies that I should watch here in a couple weeks when I get back into them. But with that, all that being said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It truly helps my channel. Thank you all for watching. Bye for now.